Casa San Ysidro is one of only probably 3 tourable properties in the state that can be toured and experienced in this kind of setting without museum casework, without glass, without signage. And when you walk through the property, you really feel that experience. In addition, the collection is historically significant. It's probably one of the most intact and comprehensive collections that represents New Mexico history. Within, I would say, the top 2 or 3 in the state. Well, Dr. Ward Allen Minguez was a historian for Sandia Labs and a contract historian for many of the local pueblos. Shirley was actually a colonel, and together they moved into Casa in the early 1950s, and they lived here till the 1990s. While they were here, they spent much of their time either building or renovating or adding on to Casa San Ysidro, and also collecting fabulous examples of New Mexico furniture and artifacts that represent New Mexico history and the Hispano and Native American experiences in New Mexico. We're at the entrance, or zahuan, of Casa San Ysidro. In the early 19th century, the zahuan would have been the main entry to a rectangular compound, and the architectural style would be called the placita style. So in the zahuan, or entry, you actually have 2 beautiful doors from the George Horace Longhouse. Through the larger door would have entered wagons, different kinds of products that were used for trade or moving back and forth on the Camino Real. Through the smaller door would be the entrance for the people who lived in the home, guests to the home. We're entering the central plazuela. This would be the central location of the house that would usually have a kitchen garden, perhaps some trees and bushes and flowers, a lot of herbs, things that would have been used for cooking. It was a good central location, and a lot of the different rooms of the property open out onto the plazuela. Looking around the edges of the inside of the plazuela, you'll notice that on the north end of the property there is an overhanging porch, or a portal, and that was a natural element that would be used as a sunshade. So for example, in the summer when the sun is lower, the portal would protect the interior from excessive heat. You often would not have a portal on the south side of the plazuela, and that's how Allen Minguez built the property here. We'll take you to the chapel, and from here you can see its beautiful structure. The chapel doors are from the Talpa Chapel in northern New Mexico. You can see that the kind of design elements that were used on it could be designed with very simple tools such as a compass, and that the doors are actually mortar and tenon construction, and with no metal at all. And in fact, they have these incredible wood hinges that are called pintle hinges. So they swing on these wooden pintles, and you don't need any metal at all in order to construct the door. The chapel would have been used for family worship, and so with some really amazing works inside that Alan and Shirley collected. Many of these pieces that were acquired through Tony Garcia from various locations. Often chapels and church would eventually do some kind of renovation, or they would upgrade, or they would replace their saints or santos that they're produced. And so Tony took those opportunities to acquire for Alan's collection. They include this really amazing example of a retablo, which is a painted wood panel of a saint located right back here in the back against the altar painting. And the saint who's represented in this retablo is San Ysidro Labrador, who is the patron saint of farming and agriculture. He is the patron saint of Casa San Ysidro, and he's also the patron saint of Corrales, of the village. And so agriculture being such an important economy here in the central Rio Grande, he would have been an extremely beloved saint. This piece was made by Jose Rafael Aragon about 1830. Some of the other incredible objects that we have in here are these what are called bultos of various saints, including San Jose, and also these incredible processional pieces, which are one of a kind, made for religious processions in the Catholic faith. We're in the upper kitchen of the original 1875 component of Casa San Ysidro. The kinds of artifacts that we have represented in this collection in the kitchen actually span a really huge time period, all the way from the early 1700s all the way up to the 1950s and 1970s. This trastero, for example, really fabulous piece made probably in the late 1700s. Trastero was used as an all-purpose chest. It could store blankets or it could store other personal goods, including kitchen items. Really a fabulous piece. In addition, the piece has been painted blue, and blue house paint would have been the kind of paint that would have been available in the 1800s and tends to weather down in the sun to this beautiful, slightly chalky or turquoise blue that has become so commonly known and beloved in the Southwest. Casa San Ysidro is really special because it gives our visitors an opportunity to understand a little bit better the continuity of culture in this region and the connections to the land. Almost all of the artifacts that you see around here are connected in one way or another to the land or living off the land. Even the building itself speaks to the land. And so for that reason, the collection really best represents the various cultures and the peoples who have lived along the central Rio Grande.